start that. Okay, and out here. No. Let's see if I piss off Cardinal this week. All right.
Are we live yet?
We are.
Oh, okay. Then I won't.
No.
Okay. Oh, you're probably picking up. Actually, are you picking up any of my game music?
No.
Okay. Then let me just adjust my sound then. So I only hear you guys.
We hear a keyboard.
That's not my keyboard, though.
That's probably Muse.
I have a very loud keyboard, but that is not it.
That is not your loud keyboard.
No, this one is. Not. If I do that, I'll reach show notes. That won't be good. And I'm on mute. Let's see. Drive.
Go.
Drive.
All right. So, Doris, you think you'll be popping in later, or should we just kind of, or just say possibly Doris later, or what sounds reasonable with your situation, sir?
What did he say in chat? I'm here, not here. He says I may make it at the end.
Okay. So we'll basically, so possibly Doris. Yeah, we'll keep the possibly Doris then.
Exactly. All right.
That works. We'll have you read part of the outro for us or something. Like you can read the if you want to thank.
Yeah.
That I'm on a podcast because I need to show off that effect that I have a pop filter. That's how you prove that you're actually on our show.
There you go.
Pop filter.
Pop. All right. I think.
It's gross.
What's wrong?
I don't like pop. It's gross.
I know. All right. I think we are good. We're just waiting for confirmation that the chat room can see and hear us. Or at least hear us. Yeah.
All
right. Max says we look good.
Like sexy, but we're not trying?
Exactly.
A gold knife.
You? Abbo, you good?
I'm great.
All right. Yeah. All right, Mew, whatever you want.
Get through this without coughing too much.
Oh, good luck. You know how I do with that. Yeah.
Hands to mute button.
I took some meds before.
Ooh. Hopefully they don't make you drowsy.
No, it's Mucinex. It's not anything fun.
Okay.
Was that pun intended? Anyway, Mucinex.
Oh.
Alrighty. Let's give this a shot.
All right. Let's not throw away our shot.
5, 4, 3, 2. On this episode of the AIE Podcast,
we have your Summer of Love 2019 schedule.
We love the nightlife and want to boogie on Nar Shaddaa.
And when you're done, head on down to Ryza.
Paranoia and Space Blackouts are on in Eve.
And we have Abavan and possibly Duras here to talk to us about AIE and Final Fantasy XIV.
All that and more, much, much more coming up right now.
Bringing you the latest news from the AIE gaming community from planet Earth and beyond. This is the AIE Podcast.
Welcome to episode 324 of the podcast celebrating you, the Alea Yaktas gaming community. The Die Has Been podcast. This is Mewcow. And to my left is Makala.
Hey guys, there's a blueberry lemon almond cake in the guild kitchen. It kind of fell apart while I was putting it away, so now it's a trifle.
And to her right is Tetsemi.
I have been 1 week and no spreadsheets. I don't know what's wrong with me.
Oh, honey, I'm sorry.
I know. It's okay.
I need some business stuff done if you want to do some spreadsheets.
Okay. We can do that.
I have spreadsheets for Final Fantasy. What are you talking about? I can help you get your fix.
Yeah, no, I'm good. I've made
That
my
needs-
Final Fantasy.
Guys, Tet needs to look up a concatenate stat.
No, I'm good. I am good.
I can get you a pivot table if that's what you need.
Yeah, baby. Sexy pivot tables.
That is the voice of our special guest, Ebovan, and eventually, or possibly, Duris, who's here to talk to us about Final Fantasy XIV.
Woohoo!
Yay!
Hi.
The
So-
last show was really just a preview.
Yes,
Yes, it was.
Exactly.
that was
Just
the
a preview.
1.0. It was the 1.0, 1.x, and this is now the Podcast Reborn version.
Oh, I
Yes.
thought it was the early access.
Oh, early access.
Eh,
Yes.
either way. But anyway, so how's your shadows looking?
I
Have you
have
brought them?
not.
Did
I
you,
have not brought them yet.
You have not brought the shadow?
No, I am still blooding in storm.
You're bloody in storm. Gotcha.
It just made it to that expansion. So I'm close. Well,
Like-
relatively. Yeah.
Well, you got a whole bunch of.
Yeah.
Well, we'll talk about that when we get there because
Yeah.
we got stuff to talk about.
Yes,
Definitely.
exactly.
But before we get to that, what's everyone been up to? We'll start with Mikala.
So we did a con last weekend. It is a small local gaming con, about 400 people, which is tiny for a lot of the stuff that we do, about half the size of Nerdtacular, called Crit Hit. It's our 4th year. We had a blast doing it, though. Really had a pretty successful weekend. Brought in about 3 times our table fee, so that's always a great sign. Oh, 4 times. I'm being told 4 times by my producer and accountant and husband. And you know, with us, it kind of that keeps us going for another. Every show keeps us back in business and keeps us going for another until the next show. So that was my big event that we did. Actually got some dice type gaming in last week. We played a little bit of our Monday night D&D game, where we were exploring what we fondly call the IKEA from hell, as we're raiding a fortress of someone called the Collector, and they collect rare and unusual things, which is primarily people who don't want to be there. So we had fun with that. We split the party got split, so that's never good. Eventually got back together. Had a really rough battle where well, I'll let Tet tell you about what happened to his poor character.
Yeah.
Thursday we had one of our tadpole games, and the lovely SJ Cassis in AIE WoW was actually is our temporary DM. She's running a 1-shot, which is of course it turned into a 3-shot with our group. So it's fun because we kind of get. I actually just reanimated an old character since it was a short game. I was like, I don't know what I want to play. I'll just play something I haven't played in a while. So that's been a really good time. Our group had a record for us where we didn't start singing classic rock songs until about an hour 40 into game.
Were you all feeling okay?
I don't know what happened. It was weird. Maybe it was a different DM or something, because our prior record was an hour 20. So yeah. Yesterday's game got canceled due to real life, but that's kind of what I've been doing, doing the crafty thing, doing the geeky thing, rolling some dice, working on dice necklaces, which combines the two.
Awesome.
Cool. Sounds like you've been up to plenty. So how about you, Tets?
I have been rolling dice badly. So that battle McCullough mentioned, I took one more hit point than I actually had and went dead, or went, into the death save bonanza, as it's known in 5th ed, and then proceeded to roll 2 1s in a row on my death saves. And for those that don't know, a 1 is a critical failure, and that counts as 2 failures for your death save. So at that point, he was dead, and got resurrected by the hand of the DM. So, yeah.
I'm pretty sure you're supposed to end with more hit points than the boss, right?
That's what you're supposed to, which we actually did twice on the new raid in WoW. Good transition.
Yay!
We went in and looked at the 2 new bosses, watched the videos for them, and went, all right, there's a lot of personal responsibility in this campaign or in this fight. We'll see how we do, but we managed to get them both down, and we're looking forward to the new boss when we get in there tonight. So we've done that. I made it through Heaven's Ward finally. I thought I'd made it through Heaven's Ward, and then I forgot that there's post Heaven's Ward, and then post Heaven's Ward, and then intro to Stormblood. So yeah, I finally made it through all that, and actually made it to the wall portion of it, and completely spaced the fact that while I was traveling to where they want you to go, I should have been looking for wind currents to enable flying in that zone. So I've got to backtrack and do a bunch of stuff. But
was it the end of Heaven's Word was so good though?
oh yeah, no, I mean
I love that
everything's good. Oh yeah, no, the whole thing was like, okay, are we done? No, we're not. Wait, you're going to introduce a new character, and we've got to deal with that whole. Wait, no, what? No, what? Oh, okay, yes, no. So it's very good. Like if you like story, just go play Final Fantasy 14. That's never a question. And then, like I said, we rated in WoW, and I have also got flying in WoW. Just doing the dailies, and eventually got revered in both new factions, so I can fly around and do stuff faster. But now it's basically achievement hunting, because in Mechagon there's, I think it's an 8 or 10 part achievement list, and it gets you basically it looks like General Grievous's wheel mount in Star Wars, and so I want that on my character. So now I'm trying to do all the stuff to fill in that achievement. But that is what I've been up to. And so it's a little bit of do some dailies in WoW, run out of I ran out of story like day 2 in the expansion, because you only get it when you get to certain levels on your neck or certain reputation points or things like that. So it's like, okay, I've run out of story. This is all mechanical. Let's go play Final Fantasy 14 and enjoy the story there. Speaking of which, Mio, what have you been up to?
Yeah, I might have been playing a little bit of Final Fantasy 14, but WoW-wise, the aforementioned rating, I got a little bit further with Horseshoes and Hair Grenades. We got to the third boss, didn't down him, because we're still trying to learn all the mechanics and whatnot. But it's been interesting, and but I haven't been playing as much WoW. To give you an idea of how much more I've been playing Final Fantasy 14, I don't have flying yet, so it's actually a ways away. I'm still stuck with the reputation for the two factions. You basically have to be doing dailies every single day, and there's some days I might forget WoW's around and go straight to Final Fantasy 14.
Well, I kind of treat it like a chore. I'm like, okay, I got to get my WoW stuff done first, and then I can enjoy Final Fantasy 14 without WoW nagging in the back of my head.
Well, and that's what makes me stop and forget about WoW, because it's the word you just say right there. You treat it like a chore, and I'm here to play the game, not play chores.
No, I know, and I jokingly say chore, but it's one of those things where it's like I need to get this stuff done. Yeah.
Yeah, the catch-22 is that it would be a lot easier for me to do my dailies if I had flying.
Right.
But I need to do my dailies to get flying.
Right. Yeah. Right. You have no energy, no willpower to get there. So you just,
Yep. And it's interesting. I mean,
doing something else.
Because it's kind of sad, because my character, my main character, is like the perfectly designed character to play in Mechagon. My character is a high mountain Tauren engineer druid, and it's like every possible toolkit I could need to deal with that island I have, and I'm just not as compelled to play there yet. So, but maybe that'll change now that I've gotten a little further with Shadowbringers. But other than that, I did see the new Spider-Man last night, so that was nice. Yes, very good, very good. It doesn't. I mean, I know that Sony did it, but it doesn't feel like a different movie from all the other Marvel movies. They're working so closely together now. No,
it's seamlessly done.
Yep. So I'm looking forward to what that set up. And that's pretty much been it. It's been lots of Final Fantasy 14, which we'll talk about a little later. And speaking of that, hey Abbo, what have you been up to?
Well, first off, I'll make this spoiler free as possible, but the end of the new Spider-Man movie made me giggle so hard.
Oh my gosh, yes.
So, that part that we're all talking about, that we're all giggling.
That was great. It gave me whiplash.
Yes. So, there's that. Anyway, I've been Final Fantasy quite a bit. Today I got quite a bit of game time in because the girls had their first haircut today with Nadia. One of which is behind this curtain. You guys can't see it thanks to chroma key action. There's actually a green curtain behind me, and behind that is when my daughter's fully attached to an iPad right now. So, for those wondering, Octonauts.
Yes.
Yes. No, not what was it that you suggested and she had the reaction to?
There's this one show that she has. I forget what it's called. It's a Netflix show, Netflix cartoon that's really trippy. Is the best way to put it. And it's about these little like girl that has wishes on the back that do funny things, but the king calls it like King Marble or something like that, or King Color or King Rainbow or something. I don't know what what it's called, but the main character is called True. It feels like something that that no human should watch more than 2 minutes at a time. But something that I have been doing though is I've been playing the Final Fantasies, the 14th flavor, Shadowbringers. We'll get to it later, but for those who are just listening to the podcast and then say, "Oh my god, I think I'll do something very important," get to the point. The point is, it's so good. It hits everything that you want a Final Fantasy game to be. So first off, it plays excellently. Like feel of the game. Like let's take the story away. Let's take away art style away. Let's take away everything that all the glitz and the glam that a Final Fantasy brings. Just sit down with a mouse, a keyboard, a controller, and just play the game, play the combat. It works, and it's smooth, and it's solid, and you're having fun while doing it. That's this game right now.
Yeah, remember how in Legion, how it was fun to play all the different classes and all their roles and whatnot? That's pretty much what Final Fantasy 14's hit.
Yeah. And then now you add in the glitz and glam of the beautiful environment you're going in, the awesome character design, the art design. You add on top of that voice acting that's not cringeworthy. It's actually very good. And then character development. You add in a plot and a story that you want to keep on playing each because you want to see what happens to this character within 10 minutes from now. How does this impact the rest of this? That's all there. We'll get to it. We'll get to it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's really hard to not go into it because I know we have a lot to talk about. So start talking.
Yeah, and as we say there, we'll be digging into Final Fantasy 14 very deeply. But first, let's cover the rest of the week's news.
Ooh.
AIE News.
Well, we're going to skip over to the Summer of Love events, starting on July 27th. Looks like SWTOR might be the first to bat. I believe they're still trying to figure out a time, but it's going to be their mega event. So look forward to that. Then the next day, on Sunday, July 28th, we have Star Trek Online doing their Mandatory Fun Night Special Edition at 9:30 Eastern. And then the next day, on Monday, we have nothing scheduled. But Tuesday, July 30th, 7 p.m. Eastern, we have the WoW Alliance side World Quest Party. So that should be fun. And then July 31st, the Wednesday, is a WoW Horde side Kirin Tor Tavern Crawl at 8 p.m. Eastern. And then off to Friday, August 2nd. Though the time has not been nailed down, we do have the all AIE Remembrance Day, of course. So expect right now EVE, Guild Wars 2, SWTOR, WoW Horde, and Alliance sides. ESO, Final Fantasy 14, Star Trek Online, and LOTRO, Lord of the Rings Online, have all chimed in saying they wish to do something for Remembrance Day. And then we have a 9 p.m. Eastern ESO Mandatory Fun Night Special Edition, and which we then have the next day, Saturday, August 3rd, doing 8 p.m. Eastern, while both sides doing Coop. 9:30, we have Lord of the Rings Online doing Mandatory Fun Night Special Edition. Lots of special editions.
Yeah.
Next day, Sunday, August 4th, we have a WoW Both Sides Dark Moon Fair fun, because Dark Moon Fair should start about then. So lots of fun to come. Please look forward to it.
Awesome. And in streaming and guild podcast news, speaking of streaming, guys, if you are a game streamer and you want to talk about using the AIE streaming channels and such, you want us to advertise us, you want us to advertise you, let us know. We always want to promote our guildies and what they're doing. And so also podcast news, SOTOR Escape Podcast 299 Tactical Insertion. In this episode, AA Sema, Max the Gray, and Astromech 299 talk through the first couple of 6.0 class updates and the ability, set bonuses, and tactical items that have been described in the forums so far. They talk about their plans for episode 300, which, by the way, has aired. Starforge, Guild Discord, 8 p.m. Central pre-show party time and discussion, and of course they record 9 o'clock max time, which is
Central
time. Yes, special time zone. It's max time, and the big SOTOR Escape Podcast 300. What a long, strange trip. Friends of the show wouldn't let us have episode 300, without some kind of acknowledgement. So they spent the show looking back at the last five plus years of SOTOR, the podcast, and the guild, and bringing the instigators of this party for mini interviews. Big thanks to Marcus, Intisar, Sten, Corley, Dent, Mailung, B. Kavanaugh. You guys are awesome. And thank you, Max and Sema, for your amazing work with the SOTOR podcast. And Working Class Nerds 48. Marcus and Nick began their first of several episodes highlighting their favorite game development studio. In this episode, they talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly from Bethesda.
And back to WoW, the first week of raiding in Nazjatar Palace, and a lot of bosses were downed. Yes, so if you want to look in the raid recruitment or in the raid news section, and you can see all the updates going on with that. The new Mechagon Mythic Dungeon is really hard. Yeah,
okay.
But has been cleared by several teams. Also, several pet collectors have been borrowing the cleared teams' lockouts to go in and get the pets out of there. So a lot of people are still grinding reputation and the new tiers of gear to be fully equipped for the Eternal Palace raid. We are doing Coop for Summer of Love, as mentioned, and the first time ever, AIE will officially have both sides, attackers and defenders, Alliance and Horde, during Coop.
Excellent.
Yeah, and I think that it was also pointed out, too, that in the Nazjatar raid, that there's pets popping up there as well, which is interesting.
Yes.
So they're starting to include even the raids and dungeons for interesting pets to grab.
Yep.
All right. And in SOTOR news, the Narshada Nightlife event continues. If you like gambling with almost no chance of getting what you're after, the event is for you.
Accurate.
So basically going to Vegas.
Yeah, I think, I forget who it was, but somebody spent almost 100 million credits already and still hasn't got the Rhodian. So,
oh my goodness.
And it wasn't Max this time.
So you say it's like going to Vegas. The way I see it, it's more like going to Atlantic City.
There you go. Yeah.
There you go.
You have
Yeah.
absolutely no chance. In fact, you feel more robbed than anything else.
Yeah.
Yep. And apparently it's just a huge RNG palooza, and you're probably better off just watching some Netflix and blindly doing things. So there's that. Apparently Stranger Things season 3 is out, so hey, watch that.
Yeah. I was about to say that.
I need to watch the first season, so I'm way behind.
Oh my gosh, it's so good.
Yeah, it's like something happened about 4 years ago. There is a bounty contract and pirate incursion event still going on, or coming this summer. I think there was one earlier, though, so I guess I got too mixed up. The pirate incursion in particular is very good for command experience if you're still trying to get your 300. In guild news, we are in the middle of the summer of 300, as mentioned. Several guildies are working on getting to command level 300 on all 8 classes, which is pretty impressive, because that achievement is being moved to a feat of strength in October. So come and report your progress as we run around the galaxy doing important stuff during mandatory fun nights on Tuesday nights. Or just drop a note in Discord to let everyone know how things are going. It's a lot of undertaking. July Mega is going to be on July 27th, and that will kick off AIE Summer of Love for 2019. We are going to Yavin 4 to kill the Ancient Threat. This is a summonable boss that many people have never seen, so be sure to attend.
And in STO news, 2019 Ryzen Lahuna Festival. It's time for captains on all 3 platforms to take a relaxing break on Rise of the Pleasure Planet and get their hands on the T6 Ryzen Corvette, new costumes, probably bathing suits, emotes, and more. The Guild Fun Run are on Sunday nights, and they've been focused on getting some currency for the updated cosmetic rewards. By the way, because we are doing the podcast an hour early tonight, you will be in time for that the mandatory fun night at 8:30. The Horizon Corvette is the ship available this year, which is pretty darn cool. Google it. The links to it are in the show notes. It's a pretty sweet little ship there.
Yep. And in ESO news, Dan Kinney is out having fun for a bit. So ESO MFN was hosted by Sparrow this week. Big thanks to Sparrow for stepping up and keeping the regular Friday night ESO fun going. And they had a lot of fun doing some dungeon running.
Excellent.
In Eve news, Nullsec local chat blackout is in full effect, making for a lot of sneaky roams, black ops, hunting, and all PvE activities are either on hold or only committed to while the high alert home defense fleet is up and active. Sovereignty attacks are still in full force, but drifter attacks seem to have ebbed off. A lot of paranoia and turtling is mixed with sneaky attacks and lip smacking for blingy kills. It's kind of interesting. The explanation they have is that the corporation, the NPC corporation that protects HiSec, says that they can't spare the power to send out local chat in Nullsec because they're busy defending from all the PvE baddies. So that's why there's no chat in out there. So it's kind of interesting. It just it's a very clever way of making things very interesting for those areas.
Oh, yeah, it's me. And look, I forget, this section is very short. The tour. Right now, what's only going on is a mandatory fun night. On the 20th, they'll be trying for a chance to get drops for cosmetic outfit pieces, cosmetic mounts, etc. During SNL, MFN, they took down 2 of the 3 wings of the Great Burrows.
Yeah, which is awesome. And in Guild Wars 2 news, Guild Wars 2 Monday night MFNs are still rolling and open to anyone in the guild. All levels are welcome, and the activities vary depending on the group that comes together. Starting Tuesday, special event World Boss Rush is returning for a week. I bet that'll be something the guild can get involved in. There is a balance patch coming out soon, much weeping and wailing, judging by the early release notes. Who moved my cheese? Anyway, yes.
Yep. And with that, let's get back to Abovan and maybe Durst and find out what's going on in Final Fantasy XIV.
Yay!
Hello.
Hello.
So, Shadowbringers. So, let's talk about that real quick. So, Shadowbringers is their most recent expansion in Final Fantasy XIV. It is a master class on how MMO expansions should be designed and given to the player base. It takes what works, right? It takes what works on the previous, what it has originally, through storytelling, combat, what have you. Removes the things that that don't work, some skills that don't work, classes rework some that need to be reworked. But just figure out what they have that does work though, and expand on that. Make a really engrossing story that makes you just want to keep playing the game. Character want to play, combat that feels good, right? And just make it to find the best content out there that they could experience. Technically, it's solid. Plays on a high range of systems. Obviously, console and PC. Your queues are short. It takes about 1 minute to log in now. Even that, the game population is at an all-time high, and every server has a queue right now. But it doesn't take any more than like 1 or 2 minutes to get in. Very few bugs, very few problems. The major bug that they had recently, they fixed within, I think, 3 days of actual release. That was the people who had a refresh rate higher than 60 hertz. They fixed that, thankfully, because my laptop monitor does not have the ability to go anything but 144. So that was interesting for me. But overall, though, it's an awesome MMO experience that every single one of you should be playing. Quite honestly, it's such a good game. It's such a good experience. Give it a try.
Yeah, they haven't fixed Skylamp yet, though, but that's probably a good thing. Much like Skybear was in Heaven's Ward, where there was just a bear floating in the sky, and if you got too close to it, it would kill you. But there is a random light post floating in Lakeland in the sky, just kind of hanging out there. And the fun thing about that is when at night it lights up with no So that's just one of those kind of things where the world designer was putting stuff together. Where'd that light go that I put down? I don't see it. Oh well, I guess I'll go over here and do this thing here. But yeah.
Well, I mean, it is solar powered. So
yes,
and it had years and years and years, 100 years of solar power charges batteries up. So I mean, I'm sure it's fine.
It's very happy. Yeah, no, but it's just funny to watch the cult kind of forming around it. But I'm definitely distracting from the point. But
you never do that, Mew.
No, never.
Never.
Okay. All I'm saying is go play the game. Anyway.
Yes.
Now, if you go play this game, though, you're going to need people to play with, right?
Right.
I mean, if you play an MMO by yourself, it's not that, you're taking one of the M's out, right?
Yes.
In fact, you're taking two of the M's out. Massive multiplayer.
Yeah.
It's still massive. It's just not multiplayer.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, if you play by yourself,
Single player online.
You want people to play with, right? Well,
yeah, totally.
Thankfully, we know of a gaming community out there that has a Final Fantasy chapter in it. That is very active right now. We've been very active in Final Fantasy, obviously. Just some numbers I've been collecting. This is numbers I took on 7/11. That was last Wednesday, right? Looking at my calendar, Thursday. Thursday. Within the last 30 days, we've had 81 unique characters logging in. So that was, that's the last expansion was released about 2.5, 3 weeks ago, depending if you figure in early access or not. So the 30 days will capture all those. But within the last 7 days, 64 individual characters have logged in.
Okay, that's excellent.
So, and people have been logging in droves, all times over the course of the day. There hasn't been a time yet that I've logged in and I haven't seen 2 or 3 people online, even on the weird hours, because we do have people in other countries playing with AIE,
right,
that are online playing, ready to rock and roll. So if you're a early riser, late riser, or in a time zone that God knows where, we have people for you. Currently, membership sits at 114 characters as of the 11th. I know that's not accurate anymore because I know I've added some people today.
Right.
So I know it's no, I'm logged in. I can take a look. Oh, and I have I have a guest here with me tonight. Oh, so I got to fix the iPad so we have some of that. There we go.
We are currently at 115.
115. Okay, we got back over here. Turn back on the Netflix. Press the play button here, and here you go, honey. Hey, this is
as of right now. There are 20 people currently logged in. All
live
at
podcast, folks.
Yeah, we got some dungeon runners.
Okay, so many of the characters here, and Dirt says, added a note says, "I'm here." Is that true?
I had like a extra large with cheese,
pepperoni. Oh, a wild Duras
Oh, wait.
appears.
Hello? Was this
Hi.
Pasquale's?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you want a large with cream and Ola. Please turn around. Thank you.
Okay. Do they do drive-through pizza? They must somewhere.
Oh, that sounds awful.
There's a place around here that does drive-through pizza. Yes, you can get a pizza.
Oh,
It's a standard pizza shop. You can go in and still get your pizza. Oh, thank you, honey. Okay, you've earned a spot on the camera. All right.
Oh, you're braver than I.
I
I haven't seen her in a while.
Yep. She got her first haircut, and she does watch me play Final Fantasy quite a bit.
Yes.
Brilliant girl.
Although the character
Very
here
nice.
standing next to Abba was designed by my daughter. She's my social director for MMOs. She
Excellent.
ensures that they're well dressed and that there are an equal number of boy characters and girl characters on every world.
Smart
so
girl.
It's a very
Diversity.
yes, exactly.
Excellent.
So Shadowbringers, right? Is this what we're talking about?
Yeah.
Is that the topic of tonight's podcast?
Yes, it is.
Well, Abbo did the show notes, so I'm just kind of cribbing off of that. He put spoilers in here, so I'm not going to tell you, but essentially the story so far, right? I mean, for many people, they're still coming out of like well, even Heaven's Word, right? So there's a whole previous expansion still they've not experienced. So a few of the things that goes to set up the story for the new expansion is unknown to them. But from the trailers, you can see they're taking the slant Shadowbringers, right? There's a balance to everything. The Warrior of Light is now going to become the Warrior of Darkness because they must to save the world, right? Eorzea. So that's kind of the setup, and the area that they've added to the game is called Norvrant, and there's I don't know, there's at least 6 different zones. There's a lot to the story. The cutscenes are still there. So for the people who've grown to appreciate and love the lengthy cutscenes, where the game will actually tell you, plan some time, get up, take a break, and come back, because we're going to play 40 minutes of cutscenes for you to wrap up the expansion. That's still there. They've interspersed them a little more, I think, now throughout the actual main story quest, which for those who've not actually played this game before, that's the one sort of gotcha with the Final Fantasy Online universe, is there's this whole separate story, which is the main story going on, in addition to a bunch of optional quests and dungeons that you can complete. Some of the dungeons are tied into the main story quest, but all of the content is gated. So in other words, in order for you to play that new Shadowbringers expansion that you've just purchased and you're eager to get into, well, there's about 3 other expansions worth of main story quests you actually have to go through before you can do the least bit of story in Shadowbringers. Now, all the classes and features, or combats and features, I mean, the main core mechanics of the game are updated for you. The 2 new classes that they've introduced, Gunbreaker and Dancer, start at level 60, so you have to at least have a level 60 character. And they actually have their trainers located in the starting area. So as long as you have a 60, you can just dive right in and grab them, regardless how far you are in the story. And that's what a lot of people spent the first early access week doing, is quick, grab the Dancer, quick, grab the Gunbreaker. And they just like got this level 61 and then dove into Heaven on High, or just chain running dungeons to get to 70 and then into the Shadowbringers content. One of the actual interesting features for the content in this game is this trust system that they've introduced, where you can actually take the NPCs from the main story and run the dungeons with them. As you unlock the dungeons, these characters will become available to you to run as an AI. And let's just say that they perform better than some pugs I've been in. So,
Nice.
so worth checking out. And
they're very realistic too. It's yes, they're AI, but they still do things like players from time to time, which is just amazing to watch.
yeah,
Cool.
so one of my favorite screenshots is there's a brother and sister that have been in the story since the beginning, that actually the opening cutscene has them in the cart with you as you're rolling into your main city. Alice and Alpha Node. Alpha Node's running around. Alice's dead on the floor, and he's like, well, at least there were no serious injuries.
Oh my God.
So, the AI, it's there.
Right.
But then again, that kind of is so Alpha Node. I mean, he does rib his sister a lot. But so that's the trust system. It's fairly interesting. But as far as the actual dungeons, the instance content that we have, there's 8 new 4-player dungeons, and in this game, there's the light party, which is the 4-player group, and then there's the full party, which is an 8-player group, and then there's large alliance raids, which could be 3 full parties, so for 24-player raids.
Mhm.
We've not seen one of those yet, but we've also got 3 trials, which are sort of like advanced boss fights that introduce various phases and lots of mechanics that have to be navigated through. And then if that wasn't difficult enough, there's 2 extreme versions of those trials, which people are beating their heads against right now. Many people have done it and gone in there and already farming it. And if you look in the party finder in the game, looking for people who are running this, because you've experienced the content, you've upgraded all your gear, you're ready to go, and they're like, must have minimum gear level of, and then some number that basically means you had to have run the trials already to get that gear level. So it's just like, okay, guys, great. But we are going to try to get people in there. We're going to try to form an 8-man and get in there and do some of this extreme content. So if you're looking forward to that, we're going to do it.
Awesome.
We're certainly going to give it our best try. And part of what we're doing here, Abba is actually going to talk about at some point with our new revised schedule, or maybe I'm going to talk about that here in a bit. Yeah, I'm going to talk about our new revised schedule. But right now, there is something coming up. In addition to the content that we have now, we're getting actual new content starting real soon. So why don't you tell us about that, Ebo?
Yes. So
Yes.
the game's brand new, right? The expansion's brand new, but they already have a schedule set aside here. So July 16th, approximately, we're going to be getting a patch which will introduce Eden normal mode, which is story mode, which is a 8-player raid per se. So that's gonna be fun. There you go in there, kill bosses, get loot, right? On July 30th, we're going to be getting another patch, which will get us Eden Savage mode, which is the more raid tier, the difficult versions of those fights. You're also going to be introducing a new endgame currency, the Tombstone of Phantasmagoria.
Ooh.
Which is also a very fun 90s era adventure game.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes, of course it is. I remember that game. Spoiler, but the final conflict involves beating someone up with a can of Drano. It was just funny.
Yes.
So the high-end currency is going to be Tombstones of Phantasmagoria, and that's going to be the high-end currency for the upcoming patch. Normally, the currency is pretty accurate up for about 2 patches worth. So that's probably going to be the thing for up until what was it? Were we 5.2? Is that right? Is that where we're at? Yeah, that's it.
Something like that. Yeah, 2 is ARR, 3 is Heavens, 4 Storm. Yeah, you're 5.
Okay, we're 5s. Okay. All right. We're also in that patch. We're also going to be getting a new dungeon, Line Gaith. God, help me out here. LYHE.
It's Gaelic. Yeah.
More phlegm. Okay.
More phlegm.
More phlegm. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I'll take your word for it. That's going to be our ninth 4-player dungeon in Shadowbringers. All right. Now, that's being added to the game to the already existing 126 raid dungeons and trials. So there's content to do, and plenty of it. And we're just adding more in, because why not?
Because we had to add something, right?
Oh, we did, yeah. We need a new shiny.
So, that's great. We have all this content. Well, what are we going to do about it? What are we going to do with it? Well, we all have in the various AIE chapters our mandatory fun nights. We're also mandatory fun nights in Final Fantasy, which we've been running. We were kind of in a lull there for a bit, but we did have some participation. We're trying to get 2 nights now that are both East Coast and West Coast friendly, or at least one of them is, and the other one is, of course, West Coast friendly. So what we're doing now for those is it's Wednesdays and Fridays for our just sort of run-of-the-mill, casual, pop in, help folks out, get stuff done, mandatory fun nights. Wednesday nights are starting at 9 p.m. Eastern, and Friday nights are 11 p.m. Eastern, a la math, 9 o'clock, 8 o'clock.
Mhm.
So 8 o'clock Pacific. And this kind of stuff is going to be like leveling content, helping people get through their story quest. Occasionally, they're punctuated with dungeons and trials, which are the story modes that Abba mentioned earlier. Leveling roulette, because even Final Fantasy has its daily grinds.
Mhm.
Got to get in there and get them goats. Get those goats. That's the tomestones of
goats.
Goetia, right? We call them goats. So we're in there getting those for the gear, like I'm wearing right here in the video here. This white
Pretty.
outfit. Yeah,
Ooh.
that's the white mage outfit. Second Aid's got some of this now too. He just hit 80 recently on his white mage. And let's see what else we do on those nights. Map runs. I mean, there's so much content. And we try to fit in as much as we can. Again, varying on who's available, what levels we have, that kind of stuff. Now we've got this crazy idea that people in AIE want to and can do harder content. So
Right.
that's going to be our Tuesday, Thursday nights. We're trying to get that started a little late because mostly a few of the people involved, 2 of them may be here talking about it on this
Right.
podcast, have kids that have bedtimes that are getting a little later and later, some by choice, others by circumstance. But we're trying to put together a raid team. Raid team, that's 8 people. So we want to try to get these extreme trials done, the trials done, the savage mode. Abba, okay,
Ooh,
Abba,
savage.
handle down there. But we're going to try to get this together. We're going to start clearing this content probably real soon. I think we've got a pretty solid crew that are interested right now. So our goals are to try that out Tuesday, Thursday night, starting around 11:30 Eastern. So that starts around the tail end of when some of our Eastern Coast folks start to taper off, but it also lets the people from Central and Mountain and Pacific get in there too and be a part of this if they want. And Abba will address this a little later, but it's like, that's what we're doing, as not officers, just people who are super into this game. We want to get this running. It's going to be under the AIE umbrella, right? Just like any raid team in any other game in AIE. Other people are welcome to spin up theirs as well. I think, correct me if I'm wrong, Abba, but there is some mechanic that basically, depending on if you've cleared that week or not, there may be actually less loot available at the end of the run. But by no means are we encouraging people not to do other runs. I mean, get in there, practice, because this stuff is hard. I mean, it's after you do it a few times, you might be able to put it on farm. But we're going to require Discord for this. You don't have to be a mic. You don't have to have a mic. You don't have to be a social butterfly. But you have to be able to listen to us screaming as we run around frantically trying to get the raid organized. So long as you can listen in, that will help us clear this content. And that's what we're going to try to do each week. And I mean, like I said, anyone can spin up these groups that they want that are in AIE. Let's get out there and clear some content.
Yeah.
But what did we say, Abo? What was that I just said?
Anyone can create a raid team.
Yes.
Right. So this is not just a Final Fantasy thing. This is really a
Yeah.
Yep. If you want to create a group, a static raid team, a squadron, what other terminology do we use? Whatever.
Operations group.
Yes.
Yeah. Off group. Whatever. A thingamabob. Go ahead and create it. Create the group. Post something in Discord that's saying, hey, I want to create a team here. We have a raid recruitment channel. Say, hey, I'm Joe Schmo, and I want to create a raid team that is super hardcore and blah, 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 has these rules and this is what I'm looking for, blah, 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 blah. We're going to run it these times, da, 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 da. Cool. Go for it. We want you to do that. That's the point, right? We want people to play together, and if you want to create a static group with a little static or a raid team or whatever inside of AIE, please do. It's one of the things that makes AIE an awesome place to be, that we let you do that. There's really no such thing as the official raid team of AIE.
You don't need our blessing.
Nope, not at all.
No. If you want to create your own team, go for it. If you are listening in the back, You can create your own raid teams and your own content.
Go for it.
All right, we want you to do that. It's really important to do so. Now, what Durst was alluding to earlier, Final Fantasy, their raid lockouts, they're loot lockouts, right? So if you get loot, if you finish a boss the first time for the week that actually has a lockout, then the second time you run it during that lockout, which is a week, you won't be eligible for loot, and a number of drops that you get will determine how many people in the raid are eligible.
Yeah, and it's only for the newest content too. It's they're just wanting to make sure that you're not trying to kill yourself on brand new content as part of it. But it's also because they don't want you to, basically burn yourself through the content immediately and be done with it. They want to give you a little bit of something to look forward to. But like if it's older raids, you can run those all you want. In fact, they have a roulette for that, just to keep going crazy and get all you want.
Right, and we're going to be doing. That's my Darcy in the background. You may or may not be able to hear.
Yep.
Background music.
Okay, that's the quality of a good mic, people. That's why you need to get a good mic. So we're gonna.
Where'd this copyright strike come from? No, I'm just kidding.
No, we're on Google Hangouts, not on we're gonna take you down if you sing a note.
Yeah.
Oh, it's almost bedtime. Can you believe it?
All right, Doris.
But yeah, it's there's plenty to do, and we want you to join us. You don't need our blessing. You do need. I mean, your raid team can make their own rules, but they need to be within reason, somewhat kind of related to how 880 does things.
Yeah. If you want to be a top tier group where you demand the typically top performance out of your members, so be it. Mm-hmm. Make that clear up front, and you can do that. If you want to have a super casual, we're coming here and we're just going to chill and we're happen to kill bosses, but we're not going to do the hardest stuff because we want to have fun. With that up front, but cool. Want something in between? Cool. Maybe something three quarters the way up or 1/4. Yeah, whatever. Where you want to fall on the spectrum, you can do that, and then you can find people within the raid recruitment channel to find people of various like-minded individuals and schedules.
If you want to go through and clear out all the duty and trial quests from previous expansions, the NPCs are bugging you because they have an icon over your head, and you don't know if it's a new quest or if it's just an old one you never completed, you can do that.
Yep. In fact, I'm hoping to do some of those. I'm hoping to do some of those.
Oh my god! Sorry.
But little ones,
Oh
we're
yeah,
all aware.
remember.
Yes.
Yeah, but yeah, that's what.
Don't get teary-eye on us now, okay? Focus.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, but a lot of the mandatory fun nights, that's what we're going to be focusing on, is all that old stuff.
Yes.
Because we want to help you get there. We're here to support you. We want to have fun with you. There's people that actually get benefit from you doing it for the first time. That's actually a big thing in Final Fantasy 14. You will get a little bonus, little message pop up saying, "Hey, you're going to get bonus stuff because there's someone new to this," and show them a good time, kind of thing. So.
And if you're really crazy, get together a group, go into the FC basement, into the workshop, and just craft. Make clothes, cook food. That's a whole other side of the game.
Yep.
We're not going to do that on mandatory fun nights, but I'm just saying you can if you want. We're not going to stop you.
Yeah, those buffs work up to level 50, I think, right?
They do, yeah.
Yeah, pretty handy.
Yep.
Oh, and super tip. The earring that we just got, that Hydaelyn earring, that's XP boost for your combat classes up to level 70. When you go and do your daily roulettes and you're under level 70, put your earring on. It will give you experience.
It's a good tip. And also, when you're still level 70, it still works. So when you start Shadowbringers, keep it on until you get 71.
Until you get a better earring too, right after that. So.
Yep.
Or actually, you may actually find out that there's not a better earring until like 73. But
yeah,
it's a solid piece of gear.
I want to say that at some point, maybe it was when the game fully launched, I think they bumped it a little bit more somehow because at first it wasn't showing up as my best earring. but then when the game officially launched, it actually did for a little bit. So
Yeah.
it's kind of
there you go.
interesting. I wonder if they might have tweaked it a little bit somehow, but who knows? But yeah, and now I kind of wanted to touch on the leveling experience too. It's actually been pretty interesting. I don't know if they've been tweaking it a little bit, but it feels like in Shadowbringers that I haven't hit as many level walls as I have in previous expansions. And I don't know if it's just because a lot of the diversionary stuff is easier to get to now. If the queues are just the dungeon queues are just easier to do. The having the trust system maybe making things easier, but I think I hit a level wall once on my journey to 80.
I think they've actually put in an effort to ensure that it's a pretty smooth transition.
Yeah.
I didn't do any of the optional quests. I'm saving those for my alt jobs.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I hit a level wall once, but there's another younger member in our FC, Garnt. Hey, Garnt. Say hi to Garnt. Who's Tiara's son, also in the FC. He just hit level 80 today, I think, and he's still not done with the MSQ. So it's
in fact, I think he's only like halfway through.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, the XP comes fast and furious.
Yeah, and what I've even noticed is optimally too. Just do the main story quest, the ones that give you the Aetheryte nodes, and the ones that give you gear, and
your role quest.
Well, yeah,
role quests are very important.
Yeah,
here's one thing. Yeah, here's one thing I noticed about the role quests. That traditionally, if you're used to expansions prior to Shadowbringers, you had a job quest that was specific to your job. Now they're role quests. It's actually tanks do this quest line, DPS do this quest line, heals do this quest line. It's the same for each of the jobs within that role. You will eventually get to see a familiar face at the end of this, and in the process of doing your MSQ, you will get to this guy. You will talk with him, and he'll be like, "Okay, now come back and talk to me when you're 80, when you've completed the role quest."
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, "But I'm not. I want
to
go forward." But so when you hit 80, remember to go back and talk to that guy, and then read the quest text. They actually are doing this on purpose now. You actually have to read some things to pick up on the clues you need to have to complete the quest. Talk to him again, because he is going to give you free level 80 gear, which is like what I'm wearing right here.
Yeah.
A lot of people are like, they went in there and they talked to him and they're like, "Oh, okay, all right, peace out, I'm done. I guess that's it."
Mm-hmm.
Go
and
back.
they're still wearing their 78, 79 gear. It's like, no, get your 80 gear. It's pretty.
He said,
Right.
"I'll talk to you."
How many times have we ran experts or the high level dungeons, and people don't have this free gear?
Yeah, Abo was streaming one night when he was running a dungeon with some of these guys, and I was looking at the tank. So here I am on the sideline doing the play-by-play, criticizing the tank for everything they're doing wrong. Not really, but I was looking at their gear, going, "There's something just not right." It's like, can you examine him? And he's like wearing level 78, 79 gear, and he's 80. He's doing like the end level 80 dungeons, and tanks are squishy when they don't have the best gear on.
Yeah.
The poor healer. I think it was Herb that was healing that, but yeah.
Well, it was like a good
your gear,
20 or 30 eye levels difference, which is really the difference of between like 20,000 health, which is a lot of numbers.
That's a crit small heal off of a healer. I mean that could be the difference between life and death.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and I want to say that this is a massively multiplayer online game, but the trust system has been sort of a game changer. It's for a lot of people, it kind of added that story mode to the dungeons themselves, to where you come in and the first time it says, "Okay, you need to do this dungeon," and in the past that might have been like, "Oh no, now I have to stop and wait." And if you're a DPS, it's like, "Well, I guess I'm going to wait for half an hour for my queue to pop."
Yeah, that 30-minute DPS queue.
Yep, but you just talk to your NPCs and you're like, "Hey, let's do it for you." And if you're DPS, they'll bring a tank, they'll bring a healer, they'll bring another DPS. I went through as a tank, so they gave me a healer and 2 DPS, and you even get a little bit of choice between your trust buddies. And they will even, I mean, you'll learn the dungeon, you will learn where you go, because the NPCs are actually pretty good about knowing where they should be standing. It's not perfect.
Right.
They try to emulate players a little bit. Like you can tell that they add it because
Interesting.
because you can. It's very easy to tell an AI exactly what to do, and they'll beeline. That's
Right.
not very interesting. No, they
Yeah.
actually go to the trouble of telling these AIs how to do it, but make it look like that they're somewhat natural, so that it's
Oh, that's
not a
fun.
jar. Yeah, it's not a
The
jar.
only thing they're
and the
missing,
personality of each character.
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
I mean,
and they say things during the run too.
Yes.
I mean, actual voice lines. So
Yeah, and even the text they will mumble things that you don't hear voice lines for that about the dungeon as they are walking around saying and looking at a thing. Oh, that happened. Oh, that happened. Oh, well, looks that over there. Like they're talking, and then they're even ribbing each other.
yeah, or shut up, Yanje. I don't need to hear that from you right
Oh
now.
my
You know,
gosh, that's amazing.
but he's well, I mean, that's what you're saying, you're Yanje, who's reciting something that's not even relevant to what you're currently doing.
Mhm.
But
yeah,
the only thing they're missing is a Dragoon AI that will backflip off of the cliff the fight's occurring on. But they'll work on that, I'm sure.
Yeah, but it's just interesting, and all the trust characters are very true to what they are. They're doing that in the dungeon. It's it's just so interesting, and it's been kind of refreshing. It's instead of that old of like, oh, I got to sit here for a while and get into a queue, and it's kind of jarring. It's like, no, you can just jump right in immediately. You queue up with your trust buddies, and you continue on. You don't have to skip through cutscenes. You don't have to rush the dungeon because they're waiting. They're going with you, like they like
Right.
Yeah.
going at your pace. You can stop. Oh, I need to go to the restroom real quick. No big deal. They'll wait for you.
Oh, so that's awesome. It's a neat
Like,
system.
And real life players, they're going to be pretty reasonable too. You say, "Hey, I need to go pee real quick." No big deal. They're typically friendlier in Final Fantasy 14.
You're the healer, and the tank says, "Okay," and he goes on to proceed to pull the entire dungeon.
Well,
Right,
there's
right.
that. But that's the go tank.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was really refreshing to just be able to just kind of focus down and just enjoy everything. Go through the cutscenes, take in the dungeon, look around. Like instead of in the old days where just you had to like go fast. You can't stop to do anything.
You can
click anything.
stop and read the little lore items that are in the dungeon without fear of the tank running off and getting himself killed.
Click the book over there and read it. Click this thing over here. Look at the vista because someone put a lot of effort into making that dungeon for you, and it's kind of nice to look around.
The other real big value add to this too, from a completely different perspective, is you've got the players who are like, "Oh my gosh, the duty queue, the duty finder just scares them to death because I'm going to get in there, I'm not going to know what I'm doing. People are going to criticize me and yell at me." Run with your trust buddies, learn the mechanics, hit the dungeon, take it at your own pace until you're comfortable to go in to the duty finder as well.
Yep.
Now,
That's great.
also, anyone listening to this podcast, you're in AIE, use free company chat, ask for help. We will go in there. We're not going to criticize you much. And we'll help you. If you've got questions, speak up, ask. I mean, we will run you through anything.
And we mean anything because it's going to be a benefit to us too. Don't worry about that. We're
remember 126. I think it was. What did I put in there? 126 encounters to do in this game.
Right.
Yeah.
I want it, Daddy. Fix it.
She wants to go in the dungeon. Clearly.
Right. Clearly, yes.
A balloon. Oh, he's going to blow up a balloon on stream. So
Wow.
first, folks. I think this is the first inflation on the AIE podcast, right?
But yeah, there's a lot to do. There's a lot for everyone. I mean, we're here to play with you. That's the whole point of this podcast, to let you know that we're playing too. We want to play with you. We want to have fun. We want to socialize. Come play with us.
And Discord. I mean,
yep.
Voice, text, it's all there. When you're bored at work and you want something to read, the text chat is always hopping.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And thank you to everyone that has been using spoiler tags. I'm an entire expansion behind, and I appreciate it.
Yeah, redacted.
Exactly. It looks like Eve. It looks like Eve logs.
Eve notes.
Yeah. Well, I love that about the Final Fantasy 14 community because the story is so important to this game that it's built in that they're not going to spoil it to you. Like
Which is amazing.
The way we talk about it, like we say things very vaguely. We say it, so that there's no possible way because there is so much going to happen that we're in. And here's the other side of it too: is when you catch up to it, we're waiting to talk to you about it.
Right.
Yeah,
we're just eagerly waiting because there's just so much to talk about. I finished the main story quest a few days ago, and it's just amazing. I mean, it's
so good,
so much to take in, and so much more to come. Like it's It was very satisfying ending to this part of the story, but I can tell there's a lot more coming.
And it brings a lot of those pieces that you've been shrugging about for years together. I mean, you start to really see where they're going with it now. It's a good story. It's a very good story. And in fact, Square, Yoshi P Sensei, right? Even he's like, for that first week, he's like, okay, please don't post videos. Please don't post anything that contains spoilers. We want everyone to have an opportunity to enjoy our story because we've worked hard on it. So, I mean, even the company's telling you, please, streamers, don't do it.
Yes.
Don't hurt us. Please, Hammer, don't hurt us.
Yeah.
Don't ruin the story.
And speaking of body gestures, I was kind of amused. There was some NPCs that kind of pointed out the fact that our character does a lot of nodding.
Yes. And fist pounding. The fist
stoic nod and fist pound. Yeah.
But it's just little things like that the game doesn't take itself too seriously at times. It's like you look like someone with a strong neck. It's like
pray thee, warrior of light, return to the waking sands and nod solemnly to me.
Exactly.
Oh, that's amazing.
And
so there's a thing out there called "Pray Destroy the Walking Sands," which you have to kill a bunch of these walking sand guys. It's awesome.
Yeah.
Yes, they don't take themselves seriously at all, and except for when they do.
Right.
But, is that enough out of us?
Yeah, I think.
Come
play the game.
Yeah, sounds like someone's needed.
Yeah, I think it's time for me to.
Daddy, I don't know
oh,
how
you
to
weren't.
do that.
We have a little princess here now, so we got a little future cosplayer here.
There you
Nice, I
go.
approve.
Well,
She's on her way to Dragon Con.
That's
Yes.
right.
There
so
she is.
Aw.
how about
Full
that being our show?
princess outfit here.
Adorable.
I only see the hat part of the gnome.
Oh, gnomes are a different thing in this game.
There you
Totally.
Yes.
Beautiful.
go. Yep.
All right, folks, that'll be our show for tonight. While the chat room begins suggesting show titles and we wave at the camera, we want to thank Aduris and Abovan for joining us. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Yes, very much.
Don't forget, there may be something happening after the stream. Probably lots of Final Fantasy 14.
And also there's STO MFN in 30 minutes.
Yeah,
Actually,
we
25
started.
minutes.
They weren't in the middle of the show for once because we started a little earlier.
I know.
Exactly.
And if you want to get a hold of Abovan on Twitter, it looks like he's at Abovan. And if you want to get a hold of Duris, he is the Duris.
The Duris.
Yes,
Don't forget
And-
the.
Duris is always taken.
So is Mewcow, oddly enough.
So unoriginal.
Weird.
Someone is still camping on Mewcow on Twitter, and they will not give it
They
up.
know who you are.
So
Yeah.
something else
Huh?
we've been trying out recently that Durs and I've been looking around with, just checking things out. We've been streaming some Final Fantasy 14 on Mixer,
Oh,
which is the Microsoft streaming platform. It has some interesting features to work with, including like sub half second latency on there, which is really cool for interacting. So if you want to see us do things on there, I'm Abovan because I'm clever.
right.
And
Who's gonna find you then?
yeah, so mixer.com/Abovan. So we're going to try to do some stuff on there. We'll try to use some of the more Mixer-esque things you do on there.
And
What
he posts this too in the content creators and the Final
Yeah.
Fantasy chat and
Right.
Discord too. So if you ever want to catch it, it's usually posted there.
Which you can do too if you are a streamer.
That's true.
Or any other content creator. You want to show us some art that you made. Cool.
Yeah.
You drew a picture of, let's say, of your favorite character in any game. We want to see it. It's cool. We want to see your stuff. Even if it's something that's not done yet.
He's excited.
Awesome.
Can you tell he's
Yeah.
excited?
I want
know,
to
it's
see I want to see what you've created, people. Oh,
Yes.
you found my
All right.
If you
tool.
want to talk to Abo about this, go join the Discord. Go hop into the Final Fantasy 14 voice channel. He'll probably be on there later.
Yes. All right. So if you guys have questions or comments about the show, email us at podcast@aie-guild.org. You can follow us at Twitter. The show is at AIE Podcast. Mew is at the Mewcow. I am at Cyberwave. And Tetsumi is at Ivory Tiger. We record live with video every other Sunday at normally at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. You can join the chat room and play with us on our website, AIE-guild.org, podcast stream live dash stream, and our Discord server for chat is that the normal one? Oh yes,
Yep.
it's AIE-guild.info/Discord. So basically, go to the regular AIE Discord. You'll see us down there under content creators. We're at the AIE Podcast. Our theme, of course, was composed by the amazing Andrew Allen. Follow him at Keys with Soul or visit his website, keyswithsoul.com.
And now it's time to play all of the great AIE member segments we received this week, including, well, the mailbox was empty, but we are always looking for member segments. So if you have segments, please send them in and we will review them and get them on the podcast.
It's almost as if
However-
the segment makers were busy doing patches and new games.
Exactly.
Right.
Yep. All right. And next time we will be talking to Dan Kinia about Elder Scrolls Online and AIE. So until then,
This is Mewcow.
This is Makala.
this is Tetsemi.
And this has been the AIE Podcast.
Yay. All right.
Mike,
I
Sorry,
will
I
let
saw
you
a tech in
guys-
there for the next time. Sorry about that. I
Yeah.
missed that spot.
That's okay.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I thought she was going to watch Octonauts and other iPad shows. the whole time.
Dude, you're fine. It's all
Parenting
good.
happens, dude. We've been there.
Yep.
Dad was
Chat
talking
room.
that
I'm
day.
gonna cut this. We will go through. You got 2 show title suggestions, Abo and Dura. So go ahead and take a look at those in chat room. Thank
Shadow,
you for
bring it
joining
on
us.
5.